So a truly, truly heartbreaking, devastating, hard to read piece of news came down today. And that's that The Last of Us 2 has been delayed indefinitely. Welcome to the newest episode of SDW.
Super Dario World!
It's a me,
Dario!
Woohoo! Let's go!
Alright, so I don't even want to do this today. I don't even want to do it. It's too sad. I've been waiting way too long for this. I know it's not a big deal. It's just a video game, but still. Like, The Last of Us, it's a video game about the world that went through a pandemic. It would have been too perfect. It would have come out a couple months early. But nothing that could be done about it. I'll get into the whole news thing. I'll read you the whole thing just so you know exactly where things stand. But before we get into a whole bunch of bad news, let's first off start off with some good news. And also let me tell you how my stream went yesterday. It was rough. Streaming apparently is very hard. I learned a few things. I tested a few things. I was mainly testing stuff out, the aesthetics, the equipment, see if it worked. Because even if you do test things out, unless you actually go live, you never really know how it's going to go. I also, my kid brother recommended, dude, you should play an RPG because it'll be easier, blah, blah, blah. There's a lot of downtown time for you to talk. That's not how I work. I go way too deep in the story. And so I lost my train of thought multiple times. So I'm starting to realize that maybe RPGs are not my thing. I'm also considering going back to my original idea of when I do streaming, just doing it in Spanish. Because in Spanish, it's more natural for me to... let me see, what's the equivalent for? In Spanish, you say pendejear. I guess banter would be, but dumb banter. Stupid. It might shock you, but I'm actually more comfortable being stupid in Spanish than I'm being stupid in English. And I'm pretty comfortable being stupid in English. So that should tell you all you need to know about that. But since I am returning to video pretty soon here, I'm just waiting for my logo to be done and see if I like it. I don't know when that's going to come out, but it should be the next couple of weeks. Since I'm waiting for that and to return to video, I might actually just record this podcast live. So I might just stream this as I record it. Who knows how the fuck that's going to work? I have no idea what the hell I'm going to do with the chat. I might just completely ignore it. And then when I just do a gaming live stream, I'll do it in Spanish. I don't know. These are all great questions and that I'll figure out eventually. But, we're testing things out as they go. At least I know that the equipment is working. We had some issues with the audio for a second, but it worked out. All right? Worked out. All right? It's we're powering through. We're moving forward. And before I forget, any comments, questions, or suggestions, you can find me at Dario the Show on Instagram or at SuperDario_World. Also, follow my Facebook page, Super Dario World. I update everything there. Every single thing that I load it up there too. So, all right, let's go with the big news. Well, not the big news, but slightly positive news. This whole Corona thing sucked. They canceled a lot of things. They postponed a lot of things. Like, the one thing that was devastating to me is that they had to cut before that. We had Phil Dunphy today on the show this morning. Ty Burrell, if you want to listen to the interview, you can check it out on the Show on Demand podcast. That's on the show's podcast network. We had Ty Burrell, and he talked about how he was so lucky to have finished recording they finished the production of the final season of Modern Family, and so he was very grateful about that. And I started going through the news of what shows did not get to finish, what shows got they had to stop production halfway through. And to me, the one that just broke my heart is that the final season of Supernatural has to be delayed now. So it's already this show's been on for fucking forever. It's great, by the way. I've actually, if you go to Review Nation, you can check out the video of when my friend Derek, he introduced Jared Padalecki to his favorite author. So it's a great moment. You can check out the video there. We met the guys. They're really cool dudes. And it was a very emotional thing for them. So imagine you're prepping yourself. You're very emotionally invested. You're planning already your future after this. Because after this, I think some of them already have some jobs set up. And then all of a sudden, right in the middle of a very emotional last season, they're like, all right, we're pausing this. And you're like, but I was, it's a way, when you see the light at the end of the tunnel, who knows? Maybe they don't want it to end yet, but I don't know about you guys. When I'm in a situation like that, I want it to end just as quickly as possible, just so that I can actually not suffer through like all the emotions of like I know it's gonna suck when it ends, so I'd rather end. It's called ripping the Band-Aid, I guess that's the expression. So that's what I'd rather do it. And so yeah, pretty sad. Supernatural, they had to stop production halfway through, and so who knows when they're gonna finish the final season. But that just sucks. It just sucks. It's the end of an era that had to be paused right in the middle of it. So who knows how that's gonna work. Anyway, so that's also sad news now that I realize. But on a little bit of good news, since a lot of things have been canceling, since a lot of things that have just been sucking all around, other let's say companies have been stepping up and they're doing other stuff and they're trying to do things to keep people entertained. One of such companies, honestly, kudos to this company because they've gone like above and beyond to help people like right now. Amazon. Particularly Amazon Prime. Like, honestly, hats off to them. I don't think that this could have been as controlled if it wasn't for a company like Amazon. Like, seriously, think about it. Imagine if right now you can get groceries brought to your house. You can get pretty much anything you want brought to your house thanks to Amazon, thanks that it's still operating, thanks that it's hiring, 100,000 new more people. So that's 100,000 people who will have a job. But also, it's the reason why a lot of us don't really have to go out and, and contact each other and, spread the virus more. So kudos to them. They've been stepping up. And it's been rumored, again, this is not confirmed because they never actually gave us a release date, but it's been rumored that The Boys Season 2, their release date is being moved up. So supposedly it was probably going to be towards the end of 2020. Looks like it's going to now be mid-2020. And rumors say that it might even be moved up more. Now, this is a show that has a lot of special effects, and it was very successful. A lot of people loved it, so I don't think that they're going to rush it in terms of quality, but I mean, because they want to keep the quality up, but they might actually move it up a little bit, and if they do, that'd be awesome. Even if mid-2020, that'd be great, because that show was awesome. I fucking love The Boys on Amazon. I highly recommend it. You should check it out if you don't know what it's about. It's basically... Imagine if the Justice League were a bunch of dicks, and so humans, it's a group of humans that are trying to kind of put them in check, Like these groups, these dudes who are super powerful and think they're untouchable, and they basically are the celebrities of the world, and so they're like, you know what? These assholes have to be put in check, and that's kind of what The Boys is about. In very, very quick, easy explanation for it. Anyway, so that was good. Another piece of news that I found to be interesting is that Shazam 2 is reportedly being set to film later this year. Now, honestly, I didn't even know there was going to be a Shazam 2. Like I said, the DC cinematic universe has been in shambles for a really long time. Now, this also kind of comes hand in hand with a little bit of bad news because according to Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, The Rock, he's saying that the production for Black Adam is being delayed. And so it's conflicting information because Shazam and Black Adam are pretty, they go hand in hand. Maybe they'll introduce Black Adam in Shazam 2. I don't know, but I really enjoyed the first one. It was stupid. It was funny. It was very well acted by both the kids and the adults. But they left the story and in a way that you understood that it was going to continue, actually in a pretty big way. But the director says that they're still working on the script. They still have a few months to keep working on the script. Honestly, the script's the most important thing they could be working on about. They can do most of the pre-production stuff. Fingers crossed, hopefully, on via Zoom, via all that stuff. So technology is keeping them working, and they should. They haven't gotten a red light yet, so that means that they still go. So that's exciting. The only issue is that, again, the DCCU in shambles. I have no idea where anything is going anywhere because they've had successful movies. Wonder Woman was successful, even if it wasn't very good. Aquaman was successful. Shazam was successful. I liked Batman v Superman, the extended edition. Okay, the extended edition, the rated R version. Justice League. People keep pushing and pushing and pushing for the Zack Snyder cut, but we still got the Joss Whedon one, which I have issues with it. All right, first off, terrible villain, or the villain was just the villain sucked. And for me, if you're having a superhero movie and the villain sucks, the movie's gonna suck. Anyway, what was I even talking about anymore? Oh yeah. So, bit of good news. It looks like it's still on track, and they're building on the movies that worked. Aquaman worked. Shazam worked. And like I said, those movies had action, and they were cheesy as fuck. So if they continue making that universe cheesy as fuck, I'll love it. Because, you know, that's what comic book heroes are. Like, honestly, that's what superheroes are. Whole big ball of cheese. And a whole bunch of punches. Anyway, also, we got a little bit of news of what the Loki TV show, the Disney Plus TV show, is going to be. Supposedly, it's slated to come out for spring 2021, and supposedly, it's supposed to tie into the Doctor Strange sequel in the Multiverse of Madness. So I've speculated 100 billion times of what this show could be, and here is what the creator of the show is saying now. Start quote, "I think it's a struggle with identity. Who you are, who you want to be. I'm really drawn to characters who are fighting for control. Certainly, you see that with Loki over the first 10 years of movies. He's out of control at pivotal parts of his life. He was adopted and everything, and that manifests itself through anger and spite towards his family." By the way, whoever wrote that sucked, because that was a major thing. I fixed it. It's away. It's okay. It's fine. Nothing doesn't matter. You guys don't need to know. Anyway, so it's going to be about identity, which I guess kind of makes sense. Is Loki going to is it going to be Loki coming into peace with being a frost giant? Is it going to be Loki turning turning into a hero? Is it going to be realizing that no, he's actually a villain? I don't know, or it could be. Now, this could be entertaining. I've talked about this book before, The Dark Tower. Highly recommend it. In the book, The Dark Tower, there's a character that dies, and then via time travel shenanigans, in a way that's not technically time travel, it's a multiple dimensions thing, and also transferring of consciousness, which is fine because you're not creating a time paradox. We can talk about that later. Well, basically, this is it. This is what a time paradox is. Supposedly, one of the laws of the universe is that matter cannot be created or destroyed. So if you travel physically in time, that means that there's going to be less matter in one point of time and more matter in another point in time. Correct? Following me? That creates a paradox. However, if you just send your consciousness, like if I just send my brain or my soul, whatever, in time to another being, that could kind of work. Anyway, so the point, what happens here is that in the Dark Tower, one character that was supposed to be dead got saved via transferring of consciousness into the past, and now that character is both him and the character that saved them are living two realities. One part of their brain is living in the reality of where they died, of where that character died. The other one is still living as if he never died. So like his life continued. So he's going crazy in a way. And it's, well, I mean, yeah, basically, yeah, driving him mad. So that kind of makes sense if you're going into the multiverse of madness, and that's why it drives you insane. Imagine if you could actually see yourself in another universe at the same time that you're seeing yourself this universe. And one of those tells you that you're dead. So you're pretty sure that you're dead. And if there's an infinity of multiverses, in a lot of those, you'd be dead. So if you're talking about identity, and in the MCU, we saw Loki die. And so, I mean, Thanos killed him. Spoiler alert. Whoops. So Thanos killed Loki, but then in Endgame, he kind of gets away with the Tesseract, so he might be alive there. So that might have created the multiple things, the multiple timelines in his head. So he's kind of trying to figure out, which one am I? Am I the hero who gets killed, or am I the villain who escapes? And he's trying to all bring it together. That actually could make a pretty interesting show. Now it's kind of tricky to show all that conflict in somebody's head in a way that's interesting to see visually, but they could pull it off. I mean, they got the effects and they got the budget. So I'm getting more and more excited about the Loki TV show every day. And I know that I just talked a lot and it was a lot of information, but hopefully you were still following me. Anyway, moving on. Another piece of good news, and this everybody and their mother saw it coming, but it's good to have it confirmed. Netflix officially renewed Castlevania for season 4, which, kudos, you'd be idiots if you didn't do it. Honestly, Season 2 was way too... You can check out my review. I did it in an earlier podcast. Highly recommend the show. Great show so far. Keeps getting better and better. And it's set up for a fantastic Season 4. A Season 4 that might even be better than the previous ones. So just keep building on it, man. It's working. Why you hadn't renewed this one before? I don't know. Netflix is doing something interesting. It's kind of like dipping its toe into anime. Just go for it, man. Just jump full force. But I guess you need to test out which works and which don't. This one's working. Jump into it. All the other ones that you've tested out, if they work, just go for it. All right? Don't be afraid. Be bold. Be bold. Pick your horse, bet on it, and go all in. It's working. All right? And now for the bad news, the heartbreaking news, the news that makes me gets me choked up. This is brutal. The Last of Us 2 game that we've been waiting for almost a decade has been officially delayed. And honestly, I don't mind being delayed. Other games, Cyberpunk was delayed earlier this year. Not a big deal. You need to finish the game. But the thing that hurts, the thing that stings, is that it's been delayed indefinitely. Means it could be a day, a week, a month, a year, a decade, a lifetime. Never. Now, obviously, it's not going to do that. And I'll read you the whole thing. But it's when I saw the headline, I was like, ah! What? No, not indefinitely. But because to me, that was a huge red flag. I remember waiting forever for The Last Guardian. For those of you who don't know, The Last Guardian was the sequel to a little game known as called Shadow of the Colossus, which is one of the greatest games ever made for the PlayStation. I highly recommend you play the Shadow of the Colossus. And this was a highly anticipated sequel that we waited over a decade for, because apparently the game had more bugs than a flea-ridden dog. And so when I heard this, I was like, oh, could it be something like that? Or maybe it was like a Kingdom Hearts thing that we were waiting forever for Kingdom Hearts 3. And they just kept teasing us and like, oh, it's going to come out for the PS3. Oh, now it's going to be the PS4. Now it might be what the fuck? Just release it already. Anyway, I'll read you the statement. That way you will know exactly the same amount of information that I know. All right? So it's a long one, so keep with me, all right? All right. Whew. Here we go. As you've likely just seen, the release of The Last of Us Part 2 has been delayed. We're sure this news is just as disappointing to you as it is to us. We wanted to reach out to all of you in our community to give you a little more information. The good news is we're nearly done with the development of The Last of Us Part 2. We're in the midst of fixing our final bugs. That is good news. Yes, that is good news. This is commentary of me, by the way. This is not on the post. But you never know. So that's good news. It's not a bug issue. It's almost done. Good. Let's continue. However, even with us finishing the game, we were faced with the reality that due to logistics beyond our control, we couldn't launch The Last of Us Part 2 to our satisfaction. We want to make sure everyone gets to play The Last of Us Part 2 around the same time, ensuring that we're doing everything possible to preserve the best experiences for everyone. This meant delaying the game until such a time where we can solve these logistics issues. We were bummed about this decision, but ultimately understood it's best and fair for all our players. We're hoping that this won't be a long delay, and we'll update you as soon as we have new information to share. We wish you all, your families, and your friends the best of health. Thank you for being amazing fans and your continued support. All right, so there's a lot there. Basically, it says logistic issues. And let me explain what kind of those things, because there's externalities that you might not think of. Let's say, for example, all right, you're making a video game. You need to put it in a disc, right? So you need to build the boxes. I'm guessing a lot of their boxes or their game boxes, they're made in China, right? Or wherever they're made. Factories are closed down right now. I'm guessing the disc makers are getting shut right now. Industries are being switched to produce other materials that they would normally create for video games. I get it. It's understandable. But here's the thing, and here's the little nugget that's in there that's important. Because I could have just said, you know what, it's being delayed, whatever, it's because it's production issues. No. Here's the nugget that they dropped in there that's actually a big, big, important piece of information. And that's they really want to make sure that everybody gets to play The Last of Us Part 2, or everybody who cares, around the same time. This means that there's a gigantic fucking spoiler in the game, all right? Or there's a lot of spoilers, one or the other. It means that the story casts a lot of information, and they don't want any. I mean, basically, they want to give everybody the same shot to spoil it for everybody, or they don't want anybody to get a chance to spoil it beforehand, because a lot of countries are closed down. All right, for example, like we talked to D. Snyder from from Twisted Sister yesterday on the show, and he says the Peru was locked down. Like they wouldn't even let tourists leave. Like his daughter was trapped over there, and they had to do basically a tourist exchange with Peru. And so it's one of those things that's like, all right, well, I mean, if the country shut down, I'm guessing they're not going to allow a truck filled with video games to go through. Now, it could be different because you could download the video game. I know a lot of people don't like downloading video games. I'm one of those people. I'm a physical copy guy. I don't like downloading movies either. I like having the physical copy. I don't like having the memory full of my system. I'm a weirdo. I don't care. I'm an ancient man. I don't care. I like having physical things. It feels like it. Otherwise, I forget I have them. I like looking at the box. Whatever. Judge me. I don't care. I like that stuff. Anyway, so what they're saying there is since they want everybody to have it and they don't know when other countries are going to be opening up, to me, it means that there's a lot of stuff in the story, or there's a lot of surprises. There's going to be a lot of exciting stuff, and now that makes me want to play it even more. And it makes this even more brutal, and it pisses me even more off that things are getting shut down. Like, it sucks for the economy. It sucks for people dying. I guess I should have said that one first. It sucks that people are losing their jobs. It sucks. So many things suck, but that is just, it's like the lemon on the wound, It's like, salt on the wound. No, you know what? This actually hurts more than salt. It's actually lemon. It burns. It burns us. But it makes me more excited for the game. It sounds like it's going to be even better than I already had high expectations for it. And now they're like through the roof. I don't know how it is for you. Maybe I read this wrong. Maybe I'm trying to be hopeful and after getting bad news, whatever. I don't know. But that's the first thing that came to mind. It's like if they want everybody to play at the same time, that means that they're hiding something. They're protecting something, and they know that it could be like a story breaker or something, right? If I would have told you, spoiler alert for Sixth Sense. If you haven't seen Sixth Sense, spoiler alert. If I would have told you that Bruce Willis is dead at the end, it would have ruined the movie. You know how I know that? Because I've never seen the movie because my friend spoiled it, and I haven't seen it yet because I'm still pissed off because I know that it's ruined. It's ruined. Anyway, that's pretty much it. Read that however you want. I'm going to be cautiously optimistic, but it's still brutal. Still sucks. Some good. I gave you some good. Give you some bad. I don't have time to get into this right now, so I'll probably get into it tomorrow. Apparently, Zack Snyder. Director Zack Snyder, who did 300, he did Batman v Superman that I just talked about a little bit earlier before. He made half of the Justice League movie. Well, apparently, he opened up about the Snyder Cut a little bit. He opened up a bit about his 5-movie plan for the DCCU. So let's explore that. Unless anything big drops tomorrow, we'll probably explore that. I feel like it'll maybe give us a little bit of clarity into what the hell DC's doing. But we'll do that tomorrow. Anyway, as I said before, any comments, questions, suggestions, you can find me at Dario the Show on Instagram or at SuperDario_World. As always, thank you for listening, and I'll see you again next time.